156 library visits. There was 57 reference questions, and new items added to the circulation of 61. And we received the state aid payment. We have a food drive in February and March. Let's see, the library was closed on February 18th. We offer coffee, free coffee to the public who are looking for a book or place to sit and read. We have new adult and children's book displays. So you're all welcome if you ever get down that way, come see us. And again, I'd like to thank you very much for your generosity.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming up and keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, with that, I'll leave.
See you, John.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Okay, we'll open up public discussions on any of the agenda items. Bill?
Bill Morton, 140 Everly Road, Hickory. Has your general contractor, Clark, been paying all his subcontractors right along?
I would probably say no.
There's nothing you can do to get your funds? They have to follow the procedure to do that?
Yeah.
He asked about the Clark not paying the contractors, is what Bill was asking.
Yeah.
And if there's something that we can do to ensure that they get paid, essentially, I believe that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, there are things that we can do in our doing, and we have the bond claim availability, and we're going to have to sign waivers and give us coverage for that. And I'm actually going to ask for an executive session so I can kind of give you.
Did they have to file a mechanics lien to do that?
No, we have bond protection. We have material and supplier bond protection. The owner has actually submitted basically a bank-issued note with a confession of judgment in it that may or may not be satisfactory to us. We just received that this afternoon, so all that's going to be contingent on us having all that coverage, which we have, because under the contract we have the bond, ultimately.
That's just the bid bond you have, correct?
No, we're beyond bid.
Performance
Bid bonds
bond.
cover we have performance bonds for subcontractor, supplier bonds, and all that. We're covered. And we're covered.
Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the reorganization meeting on January 7th, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting on January 7th, 2019.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Motion to approve all departmental reports.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to ratify the payment of bills and payroll for the month of February.
A second.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2019-G, installation and maintenance agreement for a drip irrigation wastewater disposal system for Gary Cotton.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to appoint Andrea Gadosh to the library board.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And she's already attended meetings and has been voted on by the board of the library and accepted, so.
Make a motion to ratify change order number 1, Allegheny City Electric Incorporated Public Works Garage in the amount of $2,491.90 to install emergency stop button for existing fuel tanks.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve the Liberty South Sabo Yard subdivision contingent upon meeting of all the requirements in the letter from Lennon Smith dated January 24th, 2019.
I second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Summer Temple from the Recreation Committee, and also like to thank her for the time that she put in and working on that committee.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to approve the request from Officer Scott Knotts for the township to purchase 4 AR-500 vests at $310 per unit, and this amount will be paid out of the local share account.
I second that.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? One question, Lou, are those vests fitted for a person, or are they universal?
These are more universal. These are not soft body armor. They're hard body armor. They're made to withstand a rifle round. This is like military grade stuff. They go on over top of our existing soft body armor. So the vests can be adjusted.
Okay.
The vests adjust to each officer. So
So different officers can wear the same vest?
yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
This is a nice one.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Tammy Lenhard.
I second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? Again, I'd like to thank Tammy for the time she had spent here and working with Aaron and getting things done in the front office. We appreciate that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the 2019 Ford F-250 in an amount of $35,800 to be paid out of the Act 13 account.
I second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I'd like to welcome our new full-time officer, Jay Griffith, to the police department. He's started, what,
Monday.
18th.
the 18th,
Yeah.
Monday before.
I second it.
He has stepped in and picked up pretty quick on, and I was talking to him the other day, and he's already learning the territory pretty good, so I think he's gonna be a good addition.
Absolutely.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Officer Brian Butler.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second. Again, I'd like to extend the thanks to Brian for, how long? He was here
Just under 5 years.
just under 5 years. And he did a good job, and he was respected by the citizens, so I want to thank him for his service. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Motion to approve the partial payment in the amount of $47,125.36.
35 cents.
What'd I say?
36.
35.
35.
To J.M. Clark. And that's what, half of what he's owed? Is it?
Right around, that's about half, isn't it, Aaron?
I don't know exactly if it's half. I don't want to speak to that.
All right.
It's just a partial payment. It's not in full. He will be paid in full once all the checklist items that were on Lennon Smith's list are done.
And we did get the floor replaced, so I'll second that.
Do the remaining monies outside of that 47 cover the pending subcontractor claim you were talking about, that we're talking about? Then in addition to that, I would recommend that the motion be made contingent also upon to the satisfaction of the township engineer and solicitor compliance with all provisions, and specifically paragraph 45 with regard to release of all liens by all subcontractors or placement of bonds in lieu thereof, or other satisfactory security.
I'll put that in the minutes.
Have you had any correspondence with Carter Lumber at all?
That's,
No, not
yeah, and we
directly.
don't, that's not for us to directly deal with them.
They should have an idea what they're dealing with.
Yeah, again, in our position, we deal with the general contractor and the bonding company through them, and it's for them to deal with their subcontractors directly, unfortunately.
So you want to change the motion to add what Tom had,
I'm not gonna repeat it, not word for word.
You can say so, yeah, you can ask that it be amended according to that.
Okay,
additional
yeah,
language.
according to Tom.
I'll second it. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no.
No.
2-1, motion carries. Make a motion to approve the partial payment amount of $2,613.90 to Reno Brothers.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to award Melissa Reynolds the winning bid of the 2008 Ford F-550 on municipal bid. Melissa's bid was $11,611.
I'll second it. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to award Harry Sager the winning bid for the 2004 GMC Canyon on municipal bid for $875.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries.
Motion to award the 1988 Mack truck to the highest bidder on municipal bid in the amount of $14,500. 15,000 reserve was not met. So what do we do?
You can go ahead and
And accept it.
accept it at 14.5.
Okay, that's what do I mean?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries. I'll make a motion to authorize for the advertising for bids for road materials.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed no. Motion carries.
Motion to hire NCI to install new gutters in the municipal building at a cost of $1,443.
I'll second that. And hopefully, that will take care of any of the, we've had a problem with water leaking in, and that should take care of all that. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries. Okay, discussion items.
Yeah, I got one. We talked about getting part-time help for DB, for maintenance in the summertime. I got somebody that get maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, every day. No more than 25 hours, probably less than 20.
I had a discussion with Aaron about that, and I think before we do that, one, I still think we have to advertise it. That just makes it clean. And two, we need to come up with a job description. So Aaron said that she could work on it. If I'm down here, her and I'd sit down and we'd send it out to everybody, have a job description, and and then advertise it. It just keeps it cleaner.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so we do that. Anything else? I did have one other thing that I wanted to bring up. We had gotten, and I can't find it on my computer. For some reason it didn't download. We had gotten a email from Aaron from Lennon Smith about the dirt and gravel road project for Hoop Lane and Carter. We have to pay for the engineering, and that was their proposal. And Mickey, did you looked at that? And everything looked okay? I think the price was 27?
20,000 something.
20,000 something. It came in late, didn't get on the agenda, but it's something we have to pay whether we do the engineering or the Conservation District does it to get the project moving. I hate to wait another month and maybe we end up getting out of sequence to get those projects done. It's gonna cost us about the same anyway.
And we did budget for it.
And we did budget for it.
We did.
So, if you have a problem, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve Lennon Smith as the engineers for the 2 dirt and gravel road projects. At an approximate cost of $20,000, maybe a little bit over that.
It's a little over 21,000.
Okay. So we'll say not to exceed 22,000.
You're right on there.
And that way we can approve that, get it in the queue, so that with the Conservation District, we're in a cycle there, and we don't get thrown to the end.
I'll second that.
Just added a motion to the agenda, open it up for public comment.
Christy Budovich with Mark West. Thank you, supervisors. I just wanted to double check and see what all.
Oh, wait, this is
Yes.
just on the motion that I just made.
Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you.
You'll
I thought
come
were-
up- you'll come up
I
next.
was ready for public discussion. Thank you.
No, you'll come up
Go
next.
ahead.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed no. Motion carries. Anything else under our discussion? No?
If I might, I would ask if I could bring up an additional item that would be new business.
All right.
The manager and zoning officer and I had an opportunity to meet with representatives of outfit Green Tree as a trucking firm, and they have a contingent lease with the property owner at the Village Green that would have them have a trucking operation there in a part of the property that's kind of already occupied. In lieu of an immediate cease and desist and line down of that. And what's happening there, the frontage of that property is presently zoned first 500 feet deep. All along that swath of land is presently zoned for that sort of thing. When you get so deep on the property, it's not after 500 feet deep. That present pool building that was built recently was lawfully built in terms of being an accessory use, but not as a principal use for this sort of operation. So they have asked if they might be able to have considered a petition that they would present to request a zoning amendment that would allow them to modify the map to enable them to continue operations on the footprint that's there right now that would deepen the business zone there from 500 feet to 1,000 feet. That present building goes back to about 850, so it would go back another 150 feet. Per the drawing that they submitted attached with their petition request, it also kind of limits it laterally to the frontages that don't implicate the rears of the neighboring properties that are, although in the business zone presently, residential uses. The zoning ordinance provides for zoning amendments either instigated by the board or by a planning commission or by a resident property owner can petition. And when they do that, they have to actually pay the fees and reimburse the professional fees and whatnot to do that. The letter request has asked and attached a drawing that would represent what they would be seeking in terms of a zoning amendment change, and agreed that if you would be so kind as to accept that in consideration for them having a temporary occupancy permit pending thumbs up or thumbs down, approval or disapproval of that, and at their own risk, they would then immediately more submit the deposit for the fee, which would be $1,000 as a deposit to cover all the expenses associated with that, and we would commence the process of reviewing that. And they would have the understanding that there's no guarantee that it would be approved, and it would go through the process. It has to be submitted to the planning commission, to the county planning commission, and then back to a public hearing before the board. That could happen probably by the end of April. And if it was approved, then they would immediately have to move forward with a land development plan to basically solidify the land development plan here. And if it were denied, would have to, in an orderly manner, but in short order, cease and desist operations.
So what you're looking for is the board to make a motion to give them temporary occupancy?
To accept their petition, to allow us to proceed with that process, and in consideration of that, authorize the administration to issue a temporary occupancy permit that would be contingent upon the timelines only necessary to vet, process that amendment, not allow them to do any expansion of operations, and knowing that it's at their risk, and that if it is denied, they are to cease and desist and cease operations within a reasonable time, which I think would be something short of 30 days.
So the motion then would accept this,
Yes.
which then it would go before the planning commission?
Yeah, I think if you made a motion to accept their petition, that would be one motion, and then based on that, you can make a motion to authorize us to proceed to issue the temporary occupancy permit consistent with that, with those conditions that I discussed.
I mean, I'm okay with doing that as long as I'm assured that it's gonna go through the planning commission and all of them.
And absolutely, not only the planning commission, but totally the public and whatnot. In fact, by the NPC and our ordinances, that once it's accepted that petition, two things have to happen. It has to be referred, because unless it comes from the planning commission, everything has to go through the planning commission, and then ultimately the
Right.
board. So since this would be a citizen petition, and it gets referred by you, it would be referred to the board, it would be referred to the planning commission, and then immediately we would send a letter that sends it also for review by the county reviewing agency. Then we have to wait 30 days before you're allowed to have a public hearing. After the planning commission makes a recommendation, thumbs up or thumbs down, or some modification maybe can happen, then the public hearing would get scheduled, and there's an actual double advertised public hearing that is before the Board of Supervisors. If it was based on, you have to look at the calendar and advertising, it could happen as early as late April, all that, or the May meeting on the outside.
I'll make a motion to accept the petition. Go ahead.
One seconded, because it's, I guess, new business, it is new business, so,
Well, we can make the motion and then do it.
yeah, I didn't mean to step on your toes.
I'll make the motion to accept the petition and have it move through the processes that Tom described it. And I'm okay with issuing a temporary occupancy permit until this goes through the process.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions?
I have one. And just in the letter itself, the third paragraph, we understand that the applicant is responsible for the application fees.
Yes.
And if you are kind enough to approve our application, we will submit our fee. That
Yes,
seems to-
and actually in our discussions with him yesterday, I said, in all fairness, when you have you submit 1,000, have us do this motion tonight, it get denied and say thank you and keep their fee. If you would accept it, then they've agreed tomorrow to immediately issue us the $1,000 check that they are responsible then to deposit to actually reimburse this whole process. And it's not limited to that. The fees are the greater of that or actual costs. Because you'll have advertising fees, the engineers eventually, if it is approved, they actually have to do a GIS map, adjustment and things of that nature. So they have to cover all that.
Bill?
Have they ever given you any reason why they haven't been upfront with you since this has all been going on? Because this has been going on for quite a few months.
And there's two parties involved, and I really don't wish to discuss that in public, and ongoing stuff, the preceding stuff that occurred with the property owner prior to the contingent lessee sitting down with us. I'd be happy to do that. outside of the public meeting in all fairness.
Well, I was just curious, because as much time as what the township has been spending, you know, with them saying they're not hired, they're not running an office either, there's signs up hiring and all this stuff. I was
Folks,
just curious to
things
see-
happen in a chronology that, you know, Bill can tell you about. I mean, the building, when it was put up, it was a permit that was by an accessory permit with the understanding that at that time, and that could be used as accessory. The owner had interactions with the contingent lessee. After that, I can't speak to what knowledge was shared between the owner and the lessee
But the building was put up to store golf equipment.
at the time.
Yeah.
And one can
And all of a sudden.
go
you
to change use. Was there some ready fire aim here? Certainly there is. And again, the conversation that we had with him was in the context of we can cease and desist you immediately, we can sit down and talk about whether, and that's how we got to where we're at. And we haven't spent any appreciable amount of time on it from a township standpoint. We met with him twice and in relatively short order. And
Gary Cowden, 50 Caldwell Road, Hickory. Tom, I didn't, point of clarification, because I didn't quite catch it at the beginning. The leaser is asking for this, or the owner's
So
asking?
let's see, we have asked though, because of standing, and I want the property owner to be a co-applicant, they are going to be, they're a co-applicant. In fact, I actually asked them to, and they have had the owner sign the petition, because as a zoning matter, standing and all that. A lessee actually does have standing. They're kind of a contingent lessee, so I just wanted belt and suspenders, and frankly, the property owner should be putting their name on a zoning request. So yes, they're both on this letter.
Okay,
And I can guarantee you this, all roads lead through the planning commission.
okay.
Anybody else? Motion's been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no?
No.
Motion carries 2-1. Anything else for public discussion? Or for our discussion? We'll open it up for public discussion now. We have our signed-in list. Bill Wharton.
Bill Orton, 140 Everly Road, Hickory. Two things. As a member of the planning commission, we've been kind of talking about maybe getting Tom to come to some of our meetings to help us with looking at the simple subdivision rules.
And I have stuff for you for Monday for that.
Okay, and I didn't know if we had to go through supervisors to get that or whatever.
Just ask.
Okay, well, I'm asking.
That's fine. Yeah, he's a good one to use.
And then the second thing I have is, have you guys had any discussion on Martin Road about that little slide?
The engineer went out and looked at it. He was gonna, he took pictures, he was giving them to his boss, Kevin. I'm waiting to hear back from them. I asked him about it, talked about it last week. And he said he would check with Kevin again. He said they're probably gonna have to get a geotech engineer to look at it. So we're waiting for them. He said we'll probably have to drill.
Thank you.
I'll go to the next name on that list.
Christie from Work West.
Now you're up, Christie.
Yes, sorry, I was so excited. So I wanted to just clarify, I appreciate your approval, supervisors, but I wanted to make sure, when we went before the planning commission, it was for both lot consolidation and for land development. So I wanted to verify what your approval was for, because you mentioned one letter from Lennon Smith Solar Ray, and I believe there may have been two.
Yeah, and I think you have some outstanding items still on your land development plan, don't you?
Yes,
And it's
and
technically incomplete.
that's,
I think did the lot consolidation.
okay, so I wanted to verify that to see if you wanted to hear where we were on addressing those outstanding items, or if you had any other questions.
I don't think we do. I think we're just waiting to get back from Lennon Smith to
Yeah.
you.
It's kind of all technical stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to take the opportunity while they're here and you guys want to hear, you're going to if you're going to come back when it gets presented, it's up to y'all whether, you know.
Yes, well, if go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say, we could just, if you wanted, we've made progress.
Because you're here, you know.
Yeah, sorry, Matt Bagley with Gateway Engineers. Since we were issued their review letter in January, we've responded in mid-February, the 15th. Some of the outstanding items, and I guess just to get a sense of where the board stands, we had met with the Planning Commission. There was a number of landscaping items in their letter, and during, and I know the Planning Commission is here, I believe at that meeting, it was my takeaway from it, and I don't want to speak for the planning commission, but it was my takeaway that we were gonna add 15 trees as, along the perimeter, along the road, 2 road frontages, as a compromise on the landscaping, as, since there was none currently. That met the zoning requirement of the letter. Comment, it was comment number 2 of their January 24th letter. It met that zoning requirement. All the other landscaping requirements were within the subdivision section of the ordinance, which can be waived or modified or things of that nature. So I guess just from a sense of the board, were you all also in agreement with providing the 15 trees would be suitable for the site? And we've submitted a landscaping plan. We've resubmitted all of our responses to the township and to Lennon Smith for both the subdivision and the land development. In that was a plan with 15 trees.
Didn't I recently see something from Conservation District?
Yeah, I just pulled that up.
Yeah, they approved, they had gave us a, on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, and I have the letter here.
Administrative approval?
It was
I thought you had an
the,
administrative incomplete on something.
That's what I thought.
It
No, there was-
technical.
there
Maybe it's a
we
delayed
subsequently
response.
got a, if I can approach the board, we subsequently got a letter February 21st from the Conservation District. There was some stormwater items that have since been addressed, and that we've gotten this letter from the Conservation District saying that it has been, that they're complete.
Tom?
Okay, because I guess the letter we were talking about is the 20th.
Yeah,
Pretty quick turnaround.
right.
Yeah. So there's that one.
Surprising for them.
So we have that letter. Then there's also, you may be referring to a GP, the GP permit that we have for an outfall for the pipe to the stream. So there were a couple items with regard to that. John Hewitt from the Conservation District.
Yeah, that's the GP letter on the. Yeah.
Yes, he was out sick Monday and Tuesday. We talked to him today. We've given him a plan of what we want to do, which basically is the same thing that we have before you today. Just some clarification items, and he is on board with what our plan is, and that should be forthcoming here in the next day or so. So as far as an outside approval standpoint, the Conservation District on the MPDS permit, as I provided here, is okay. The Conservation District on the sense of the GP permit, we talked to them today, and it's, I can't speak for them, but in our conversation, it's a favorable response. I would just say it that way. Then really the only other technical items were some landscaping, and if you're on board with that,
I'm okay with
15 trees. Just that way we don't.
Did you get a comment? You didn't get a letter back from Lennon Smith to your resubmission, right?
We resubmitted on the 15th, and we haven't seen anything back yet.
Tom, do we need to make a motion? We made a motion for the
That- What was on it?
subdivision.
What was on it? What's on the agenda? What was on the agenda tonight is the subdivision plan. And I guess from what I understood, you were on kind of a hold pattern on land development because.
Well, and that's why I just wanted to talk through, if we could, and I'm not trying to, I just want to make sure that the path that we're going down is meeting, that there's nothing, that we're not going down a wrong path that you.
I guess in fairness to the board, they haven't even seen it technically what's come from the planning commission, so I don't know if it's kind of fair to ask them if they're good with the changes that haven't been presented, and Lennon Smith actually hasn't commented back to you. Did the plan, just for information's sake, did the planning commission make recommendations
Yeah.
subject to?
Right,
Subject to
yeah,
the
all
two
this submitted, what's
Subject
coming
to
back.
Okay.
Right, this wasn't on the agenda.
Those
And I think the letter, the Lennon Smith's letters are from the 22nd, right? I'm sorry, let me pull up.
Those trees are along the road or
I can show you.
between the houses?
24th.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up one of
Yeah, we
the.
had a,
Yeah, I think.
They're along on Western and then a little bit on East Sabo as well. We wanted to be
I think at
mindful-
this point, we've approved the subdivision, but until we get something back from Lennon Smith saying that what they submitted is
Yeah, because it's going to be close to the house.
Response.
good,
yeah,
and
the,
it meets everything, I think we're gonna have to hold off on it.
yeah, there was, there's existing pine trees on, just to make sure we're okay with the landscape review. So there's existing pine trees on this side of the
February 1st, yeah, I
property,
got those.
Yeah, that's next to that house.
next to the house, and those were gonna stay. Nothing was happening with those trees, but we were adding trees in the direction, or the discussion with the planning commission, we were adding trees along here and on this side.
Let's see. Oh, that's January 20, yeah, that's the proceeding.
Yeah, I don't see a problem at all, and I think you're moving in the right direction.
Okay, I just wanted
But
to,
from our standpoint, I think we need to get another letter back from Lennon Smith saying yes, basically. And we should have that, we'll have it by our March meeting, it shouldn't be a problem. But
Okay.
you're in the right direction.
okay, I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, I don't wanna, yeah, it's just not on the agenda, and
I understood.
frankly, they're moving at pretty good
Yeah.
pace on it, so you should, you know.
No, I understand, but we are asking for a couple waivers in the landscaping sites. I just want to make sure that we're moving in the right
Believe me,
direction.
it's
with the planning.
gonna be a vast improvement to that lot.
Yeah, yeah, I have pictures on the back. You can see it's there.
We'll get that letter, it'll be on the agenda for the March meeting.
You end up getting a finish line at the same timeline, basically, because they gotta make all the stuff, the picture match all this stuff anyway, right? So,
Yeah, and I anticipate by that point we'll have the GP permit from the Conservation District.
You should have everything you need,
Yeah.
you're ready to break ground.
We got the driveway permit from the township for the other driveway, so,
Oh, he confirmed that, that was the one comment.
yeah, we have gotten it from Go.
Very good.
All right.
We're
Thank you.
moving forward. Looking forward to seeing a building down there.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Yep.
I just want to let the supervisors and everybody know in the public, we, last month, we rolled out the new speed sign. We were able to deploy it for a couple days. We used it on Main Street. It's a high-traffic area. So on an eastbound stretch we had from the 15th to the 24th, just gives an idea what the sign can do. It counted 22,238 cars came through during that period. The speed limit's 35 in that area, obviously. The 85th percentile, which is what the government uses, is what on a lot of their studies. The 85th percentile speed was 37.5 miles per hour, which is good. The speed threshold, we had some moderate violators within areas, so we're able to pinpoint what times on those. That this would have been on the eastbound, it would have been right before Hickory Telephone near about 82 Main Street. From the 5th to the 13th, we had a westbound right up at Washington Avenue coming into town, 19,384 cars, and the 85th percentile was about 34.67 miles per hour. So we got a lot of good data. If you have any questions about it, I can explain it to you. But it really gives us the average number of cars for the hours every day, when we have high traffic, low traffic, everything like that. So the most important thing is people that were coming in over the speed limit, it shows that they all decreased their speed. So it raised awareness and did its job. So just want to let the
Very good.
supervisors know that.
Does that run all night long?
Runs 24/7, yep.
Also, this past Saturday, the Parks and Rec Board had a purse bash at Fire Hall. This was their second purse bash to raise money for the Park and Recs. And that board just has done a phenomenal job. This year, exact figures were right around $17,000 they made to add to the Parks and Rec budget. And I'd like to thank them publicly for all the work that they put into it. It's a big undertaking getting all they just had hundreds of baskets, and there's a lot of crazy women there too. They sold 300 tickets, and I think every one of them was at Fire Hall.
I think so.
So, but just kudos to them for a job well done.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. Anything else? Make a motion, we adjourn?
One other thing.
Oh,
Just want to introduce Diane Baylow.
Oh,
She's been with
I'm
us
sorry.
for 3 weeks. Diane is actually working with us as a temporary for right now through ADECO. But she's been here 3 weeks, and it's been baptism by fire. She's picked up the ball very nicely, and I appreciate everything she's been doing for us in the office.
Thank you. We're glad you make the trip out.
Thank you.
Make motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion's been made second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank everybody for coming. Gary Cobb, stop and see me.
Yes, sir.
If I knew you were gonna be here, Christie, I'd have brought your apple butter.
I texted
Oh, that's
you.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's all. Yeah, I stick around here.
Road, or can I just-
Yeah, I didn't.
I'll leave some of this on.
Yeah, so, no, that's I don't wanna put any restriction. I just wanna, yeah. The other thing that.
You sign mine, I'll sign yours. Since you're running against me.
We're asking for waivers on that. I just wanna generally.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I know.
How are you?
Good to see you. Are you hearing anything, concerns about the pipeline?
And with the.
And I have-
with the laws now, the fraction, like this.
No, and look,
And I didn't know what
There was confusion about which gas line it was.
I didn't really dig into his, I didn't know this was.
It's not good to pull out your wallet and money in a supervisor's meeting. It could be